January 1956, the day it opened. I was in second grade. When it opened, it was in a big house, and there were 107 kids. So there are more than twice as many of that in the graduating class this year alone.
I guess it would be a much smaller school, obviously, and I would say probably a little bit more close-knit than it is now.
I think that when Mr. Baker went to school here, it was probably pretty lonely because there wasn't a lot of students. But I'm sure Mr. Baker had a great time because he has a great personality, so he probably connected with a lot of people.
I think Mr. Baker came back to SAS because he loves it, it's his life, and it's like SAS loves him back.
I would say Baker probably had good memories, good experiences with SAS, and he wanted to come back and give something back to the students.
Probably because he left such a legacy here while he was at school, and he realized that he could pass it on to other kids and help them benefit from what he had while he was a student.
I actually had gone to law school after I left college, and I decided I was sick of going to school, and so then I went to school for the next 43 years.
I think he actually really does care about like learning. He does care about learning, obviously, but he cares about his students and he cares about the kids, and like I think he loves what he does.
Well, I've never had him as obviously as a student, but I know I've talked to so many students who had Mr. Baker and respect him and felt like they got way more than their money's worth. He's a brilliant guy, knows his field in and out, and I mean he wrote the book on the old Malaysia-Singapore course, and actually literally wrote the book that they used in the class. He's a scholar, he's intelligent, he's a coach. I mean, he is totally committed to the school and to the students, and a real professional. He's been one of my closest friends for years now, and I really respect him as a colleague. And I know the students respect him as a teacher and a mentor and a coach.
I had him for AP Economics. He uses this frightening tactic known as humiliation to keep students on task and concentrated, and it is very, very effective.
He always asks a lot of questions to the students, and we always respond in kind of like a seminar type class.
I remember I was like daydreaming, and he would come up to me and ask me a question, and I completely said the wrong answer. I had no idea what we were talking about, and he said that he would make me go run laps.
He always likes to make fun of or tease people, especially when they have bad answers or they answer something incorrectly, so it's kind of lighthearted and it's funny for everyone. Probably one of the most influential teachers I've had at SAS, and I'm studying business next year. That's a large part due to him, and he also wrote my recommendation for me.
I wanted to do something that when you woke up every day, you felt like what you were doing was important, and I always felt that way my whole career.
I met him 9 years ago at an IASIS track meet when I was a coach at ISB Bangkok, and he was, of course, the legendary coach at SAS. And I remember, you know, he was a legend, right? So every person that said, oh, that's Baker. He'll never speak to you, he'll never know who you are, but he really knows his stuff. And so I knew enough to be in awe, but I cannot say that I knew the man, and I'm certain he does not remember meeting me.
I met Mr. Baker when I first came to high school. In supervised study. He was my supervised study teacher, yeah.
I would say probably third grade when he used to run his Camp Castaway camp in the summers, which was in Malaysia.
I was really scared of him because he seemed like this like really, I don't know, he just seemed really stern and stuff, and so he was really intimidating, and like everyone had said that he was like really mean, so I was scared.
I always saw this man walking around with an umbrella in the hallway, and I'm like, oh, that's Mr. Baker. I was really scared of him at first because he seemed really grouchy, and it was really like scary. And when he first like said my name and acknowledged me, I felt really special.
I met Mr. Baker 27 years ago when I first got to SAS, and he was the activities director at that time, and teaching as well.
Over all the years, I've got a lot of favorite moments.
Okay, so my junior year, SAS, I had just won the 4x800 with my other 3 teammates, and I was like really sweaty, and I had finished, and I moved to the side, and I had lifted my shirt up to wipe my face, and all of a sudden, like, I'm just wiping my face, I can't see, and Mr. Baker just comes up and like slaps me in the stomach.
I ran a 400 at IASIS. I think after that 400, he came up to me and Mr. Baker shook my hand and he said like, good job or something like that. And I just felt very happy about that.
Last year when I won the 400, I guess, or not even, no, I didn't even win it. I tied for first place, but he was just so shocked, like he didn't expect me to win at all. And he was kind of like laughing, but then happy at the same time.
The best was watching him celebrate the 4x4 win when those boys did the impossible and managed to beat Jakarta to clinch that silver medal, because I knew how much beating Jakarta means to him and how much that 4x4 team meant to him. And those were kids that we've had for 4 years. It was just a really amazing moment, and I was so happy that it worked out, and that's the way he could say goodbye.
Yeah, there's been so many. I'm a lucky person.
He's very knowledgeable. He knows a lot, whether it's in the classroom or on the track as a coach. And he brings a lot to the team. I can't really describe it.
My daughter Hannah Good was on the track team for 4 years, and just having Mr. Baker say hello in the hall was a huge deal for her. He wasn't the most demonstrative, but when he did encourage you, it meant the world, because his opinion really mattered. The respect that kids have for him, and I know that Hannah had for him, just meant that much more. And so he was one of those mentor-type coaches.
That's true.
He really has made me grow as a person, because he's like what I said before, like it doesn't seem like he'd be such a nice person, but he's made me grow as a person with self-confidence a lot, because I personally have a lot of trouble with that, and he always just helps me push to my limits.
At the end of the day, you realize that he would rather have all of his athletes try their best, and if that doesn't mean we win, he's okay with that, and he's happy.
I could see that he was really passionate about track, he was really passionate about kids, and that he was so creative as a coach. A lot of coaches have a plan, and if it's a successful plan, they'll stick to it year after year, whereas he was willing to work with the athletes that he had any given year. If this kid wasn't successful in the events that we'd put him in, well, okay, what can we do? How can we make this kid thrive? How can we use this kid to help the team? And I never ever met a coach that creative and that flexible, especially for someone who'd been doing it so long and been so successful. And I think that's one of the keys to his success, and I hope to take that with me when I coach at other places as well.
Mr. Baker, I'm going to miss you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your life, and you just made so much of an impact on my life, and you're just an amazing person, and SAS is really going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you a lot next year, and I hope that you actually do stay in Singapore and can do track next year with us.
I wish you could have been my coach for a lot longer and not just this first year, because I really just started to get to know you, and I wish I got to know you better. And thank you.
Bye. I love you, Mr. Baker.
Thank you so much for being such an incredible coach, Mr. Baker. I wouldn't be the runner I am without you, so thank you so much for everything.
I love you, obviously.
Thank you for everything, Mr. Baker. Have a good time in Penang.
Thank you so much for making me really enjoy track and make it a passion. And you've been so great to SAS and the track program for so long, and I think SAS is really going to miss you next year and in the future. And so will I.
I wish I would go. And I'm not leaving because I want to go. You know, I would teach here as long as I could physically, but it's not possible.